For 3 years, I lived in silence, not the kind you hear, but the kind that drowns you from the inside. My wife was gone, my heart locked away, and my little girl was the only thing keeping me breathing. Then one ordinary day, a quiet woman with a broken smile walked into our lives, and somehow, without a single word, she made me feel everything again. Do you believe love can return when you've stopped listening for it? If yes, like this video and share your thoughts in the comments. The cafe smelled like roasted beans and rain-soaked pavement, that mix of warmth and loneliness I'd gotten used to. Lily sat across from me, swinging her small legs under the chair, cheeks puffed as she waited for her hot chocolate to cool. I signed, careful. It's hot. She grinned and exaggerated her signs. I'm not a baby, Daddy. Her fingers were quick, her movements full of personality, sometimes sass, sometimes innocence. I couldn't help but smile. Oh, really? I mouthed, signing back. You still sleep with Mr. Floppy. She gasped, laughing silently. He's my guard bunny. Her laughter, that soundless giggle, hit me like sunlight breaking through a cloudy morning. Moments like this made the noise of the world fade away. Here, in our small corner of quiet, we didn't need sound. Just hands, eyes, hearts. As she stirred her drink, I noticed the table beside us. A young woman, maybe late 20s, was signing nervously to a man. Her gestures were hesitant, polite. The man's eyes darted between her and his phone. Something about her struck me. Her movements were fluid, graceful. Her hands spoke with emotion, even when her lips didn't. But the man didn't see it. He chuckled awkwardly, stood, and said something aloud I couldn't catch. She froze mid-sign, her smile faltering as he grabbed his coat and walked out. The bell over the cafe door jingled. The silence he left behind was heavier than any noise. I turned back to Lily, hoping she hadn't noticed, but she had. Her bright eyes dimmed. She tugged my sleeve and signed, "Why did he leave her?" I hesitated. What could I say? Because some people don't know how to listen, I finally signed. She frowned, thinking hard, then signed. She was talking, with hands. Like me. Yeah, I signed softly. Exactly like you. Her little fingers paused midair, confusion creasing her forehead. So he didn't want to listen? My throat tightened. No, I signed slowly. He didn't. Lily looked at the woman again. The woman sat completely still, hands resting on her lap, her eyes fixed on the table. A cup of untouched coffee sat in front of her. She looked like someone who had rehearsed for a scene that never got to play. Lily's hand brushed mine. She's sad, she signed. I know. I glanced back, trying not to stare. Her hair fell loosely over her shoulder, dark and soft. There was a quiet strength in the way she held herself, even in heartbreak. Then her eyes lifted and met mine. For a second, I forgot to breathe. She blinked, realizing I was watching. I wanted to look away, but something in her expression, that fragile composure, that silent apology for feeling too much, held me there. She looked down, exhaled, and pressed her palms together as if praying. Her shoulders trembled slightly. I shouldn't have looked that long. I shouldn't have cared. But I did. Lily was still watching her too. Daddy, she signed, her movements slower. Do people not like people like us? I froze. Who told you that? She pointed toward the woman. He didn't like her because she talks like me. I felt my chest tighten. No, sweetheart, I signed. People like us are special. Some just don't understand yet. Her brows furrowed. Then why are you sad? Kids see everything, even the things you hide behind smiles. I shook my head and forced a grin. Because my coffee tastes bad. She giggled again, but the light didn't fully return to her face. She went back to drawing on her napkin, a stick figure of her, me, and a big rabbit holding hands. I watched her, heart aching in a familiar, quiet way. The kind of ache that never really leaves. It just finds new corners to hide in. Across the cafe, the woman wiped her eyes quickly. The movement was small, almost invisible, but I saw it. I told myself to look away. I told myself it wasn't my place. But something inside me wouldn't let go of the image. her sitting there, trying not to fall apart in a room full of sounds she couldn't hear. I stared down at my hands. The same hands that had once signed lullabies to my wife in the hospital. The same hands that now struggled to hold a world together for Lily. And for the first time in a long while, I felt something shift, a quiet pull deep in my chest. Not desire, not pity, just recognition. The kind that comes when one kind of silence recognizes another. Lily tapped my wrist. "Daddy," she signed. "Can we help her?" I looked at the woman one last time. Her head down, her shoulders trembling again. "I don't know." I signed back. Maybe we already are." The rain started outside, tapping softly against the glass. And as I watched her sit there alone, I realized something that scared me. I couldn't stop thinking about her. A feeling I thought I'd buried years ago had just started to breathe again. I couldn't stop thinking about her. The way her hands froze in the air after he left, like words trapped mid-sentence. I tried to focus on Lily, but my eyes kept drifting back. She sat alone now, wiping her tears quickly when she thought no one was looking. I pretended to stir my coffee, pretending not to notice, but every small motion of hers pulled at something inside me I thought was long dead. Lily tugged at my sleeve. "Daddy," she's still sad, she signed, her brows pulled tight. "I know." I signed back. Maybe she'll feel better soon. Lily shook her head. She needs a friend. She was right. Kids always are. The woman, Maya, I'd learn later, flagged down the waiter, her hands moving hesitantly. He nodded but didn't sign back, just pointed to the counter. She forced a polite smile, digging through her purse. I could see how her fingers trembled slightly. Something about it hit me harder than it should have. Maybe because I'd seen that look before on my wife after the diagnosis. That fragile courage people wear when they're just trying not to break. I told myself to look away, to just mind my business. But Lily didn't listen to that rule. Before I could stop her, she lifted her small hand and waved. Maya noticed. Her expression softened immediately. She looked at Lily, then at me. I smiled awkwardly and nodded once, a silent hello. She hesitated, then waved back. Her smile didn't reach her eyes, but it was still beautiful in a quiet kind of way. Lily leaned toward me. She smiled. "Yeah, I signed," smiling too. And then she looked at me again. Really looked. It wasn't long, but it was enough to make my chest tighten. There was a question in her eyes, maybe even fear, like she was wondering if she was being pitied. I wanted her to know she wasn't. Before I could think twice, I caught her gaze and signed. Slow, clear. "You deserve better." She froze. Her lips parted slightly, eyes widening in surprise. For a second, the cafe disappeared. The chatter, the rain outside, everything. It was just her and me, staring across the silence like it could actually mean something. I didn't know why I said it. Maybe because I needed someone to say it to me once, and no one ever did. She looked down, her hair falling forward like a curtain. Her hands hovered above the table, unsure what to do. Then she gave a small nod, almost like a thank you, and signed softly, "Thank you." The waiter brought the bill, breaking the moment. She paid, gathered her things, and stood up. I could feel my heartbeat pick up, stupidly. Lily was watching too, chin on her hands. "Is she going home?" she signed. "I think so," I answered. Maya glanced at us again before heading to the door. When she passed our table, Lily waved one more time. Maya smiled, this time a little brighter. She signed to Lily, "Be good for your dad." Lily giggled, nodding. "I always am," she replied proudly. That made Maya laugh, just a breath of it, but enough to show dimples at the edge of her smile. I hadn't realized how much I missed seeing that kind of laughter, the unguarded kind. As she walked out, the bell above the door jingled again. The sound hit something deep in me, like a memory I didn't want to open. My wife's laughter used to echo like that, faint but warm. For a second, I almost turned, expecting her to be standing there. But she wasn't. She never would be again. Lily reached for my hand. "Daddy," she signed gently, "your eyes are wet." I wiped them quickly, pretending to smile. Coffee's too hot. I signed back. She didn't buy it. She never did. We sat there a while longer. I told myself it was time to go. I reached for my jacket, ready to leave, when I noticed something. A small black notebook lying on the chair Maya had just left. It was worn around the edges, the cover soft from being opened too many times. Lily noticed too. She forgot it. She signed, pointing. Yeah. I signed back, picking it up carefully. It felt strangely personal, like holding a piece of someone's heartbeat. For a moment, I thought about rushing outside, finding her, but she was already gone. I turned the notebook over my hands, thumb brushing over faint indentations on the cover, a name pressed in neat letters. Maya H. Lily tilted her head. Are we going to find her? I don't know. I signed. Maybe. Outside, the rain had stopped. The world felt quieter than before, the kind of quiet that comes after something begins. I slipped the notebook into my coat pocket. I told myself I'd return it tomorrow, but part of me knew I was already too curious not to open it. And even deeper than that, maybe I was just ready to feel something again. I couldn't sleep much that night. The notebook sat on my nightstand like it was staring at me. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw her face again, the way she'd looked at me before leaving, that quiet thank you in her eyes. By morning, curiosity won. I told myself I was only checking for a name or an address, something that would help me return it. But the moment I opened it, I forgot all about that. Page after page, sketches, half-finished poems, tiny bursts of handwriting, a world built out of silence. One line caught me immediately. I'm not broken. I just hear differently. The words hit harder than they should have. They felt like something my wife would have written, gentle but defiant. Daddy, what's that? Lily's voice, or more like her breathy half sound, came from the doorway. She padded into the room, hair messy, holding her stuffed bunny by one ear. It's a notebook. I signed, patting the bed. Someone left it at the cafe. She climbed beside me and peered over my arm. Her fingers brushed the page. Pictures, she signed, eyes wide. I smiled. Yeah, they're beautiful, aren't they? She nodded quickly, flipping to another page before I could stop her. There was a drawing of a girl sitting in a park, head tilted back, hair blowing in the wind. Underneath, in looping handwriting, silence isn't empty. It's full of everything I feel. Lily looked up. She's like me? I froze. What do you mean? She talks with her hands, and she likes quiet. I swallowed hard. Yeah, I signed. She does. Lily smiled and signed faster. We should give it back. Maybe she'll draw me. I chuckled softly. You really think so? Yes. She liked me. I saw it in her face. She was probably right. Kids had a way of knowing things we adults try to overthink. I closed the notebook gently. We'll give it back, I said. But even as I said it, a part of me hesitated. Because this wasn't just a notebook anymore. It felt personal, private, sacred. Like reading someone's soul through paper. I traced my thumb over another line, written faintly in pencil. I stopped waiting for someone to listen. Now I draw so the world can finally see me. That one broke something open inside me. For years, I tried to keep moving for Lily's sake, pretending I was fine. But truth was, I'd stopped listening to myself, to the world, to anything that reminded me of her. And now this woman, this stranger, had somehow written everything I'd been afraid to say. Daddy, I blinked. Lily was watching me closely. Are you sad again? I smiled faintly, just thinking. About Mommy? Yeah, I signed. A little. Lily's eyes softened. Mommy liked to draw too. I nodded. She did. The memory came back sharp. My wife sketching on hospital napkins, saying she'd draw until the pain forgot her name. I used to tell her she couldn't save everyone, that she gave too much of herself away. Now her voice whispered through the memory. You can't save everyone, Ethan. I looked down at the notebook again and sighed. Maybe not, but maybe that wasn't the point. Maybe trying was enough. Lily nudged me with her elbow, grinning. We're giving it back today, right? I hesitated. Maybe tomorrow. She frowned. Why not now? I didn't have an answer she'd understand, because I wasn't sure what scared me more, seeing Maya again or what seeing her might wake up in me. Still, the idea of her not having her notebook, her voice, bothered me. Lily crossed her arms, mimicking my serious face. She's waiting for it. I can feel it. I laughed. You can feel it? She nodded proudly. Daddy, I'm deaf, not dumb. We feel everything. That line, her honesty, her courage, hit me right in the chest. I closed the notebook and handed it to her. Okay, partner. I signed. We'll find her. Her eyes sparkled. Yay! As she ran off to get ready, I looked down at the cover again. Maya H. The name felt heavy in my hand, not because of what it meant, but because of what it might become. I tucked the notebook into my jacket pocket and stared out the window. The world outside looked the same as yesterday, quiet, gray, unbothered, but something in me wasn't. Maybe I was finally ready to stop pretending silence was peace. Maybe it was time to listen again. The next morning, I couldn't shake the thought of her. The notebook sat on the passenger seat as I drove to the cafe, its cover catching bits of sunlight through the window. I told myself it was just about returning it, nothing else. But I could feel that lie sitting heavy in my chest. When I walked in, the smell of espresso hit me again. Same rain-damp air, same quiet hum of conversation. And there she was, sitting by the window, sketching, her hand moving with calm rhythm. Lily spotted her first. Her whole face lit up. Daddy, she signed excitedly. It's her. Before I could stop her, she was already halfway across the cafe. Maya. She signed. At least, I hope she remembered the name right from the notebook. Maya looked up, surprised, then smiled softly. Lily stopped right in front of her table, hands flying. You draw like Mommy used to. The word Mommy froze me where I stood. Maya's eyes softened. She looked from Lily to me, waiting for me to come closer. I took a breath, walked over, and signed awkwardly. Sorry. She gets excited. Maya smiled and signed back. It's okay. She's sweet. I held out the notebook. You left this. Her hands hesitated as she reached for it. You found it. Yeah, I signed. I wasn't sure if you'd come back here. I always come here to draw. She signed with a small shrug. It's quiet. People don't stare too much. I didn't know what to say to that. So I said the first thing that came to mind. Your art is beautiful. Her eyebrows lifted slightly. You looked. I scratched the back of my neck. Only a little. Sorry. She tilted her head, smiling faintly. Don't be sorry. That book's been waiting for someone to actually read it. Her words hit deeper than I expected. Lily tugged at my sleeve, impatient. Ask her to draw me, she signed eagerly. Maya laughed silently when she saw Lily's hopeful face. Maybe another day, she signed gently. Lily pouted but nodded, then turned to me. Daddy, sit. Talk. I sighed but obeyed, sliding into the chair across from Maya. Lily perched next to me, watching us like it was her favorite show. For a while, we just talked with our hands. Slowly, awkwardly. She signed something. I messed it up. She laughed, corrected me. I tried again. I hadn't realized how good it felt to laugh at myself. She caught me watching her hands. You sign well, she said. I smiled. Had to learn for her. I nodded toward Lily. Maya's eyes softened. She's lucky. Maybe I'm the lucky one. Lily grinned when she caught that. He's always lucky, she added proudly. Maya laughed again, that silent, shaking laugh that made her shoulders move and her eyes light up. I didn't realize until that moment how much I'd missed hearing laughter, even if I couldn't hear it now. We talk about small things, the cafe, her drawings, Lily's obsession with chocolate muffins. Every movement of her hands was like a language painted in air. Then, somewhere between my broken signing and her gentle teasing, she noticed the ring. Her eyes lingered on it, not judgmental, just quiet. I felt my pulse slow. I didn't take it off after she died. It just became part of me, like the scar you stop noticing until someone points it out. Maya's expression changed, soft, sad. She signed slowly, each motion deliberate. You're still in love with her? I froze. My throat tightened. My hands hovered midair, but no words came. She waited, patient, eyes searching mine. Finally, I signed. She was everything. Was Maya signed back. Not is. That one stung. I looked away, trying to laugh it off, but it came out wrong. Forced. Lily tugged at my arm again, confused. What's wrong? She signed. Nothing. I lied. But Maya saw the truth. She leaned back, her smile fading. She looked down at her sketchbook, tracing the edge with her thumb. The air between us felt heavier now, not uncomfortable, just honest. After a long moment, she signed softly. It's okay to remember. It's not okay to stop living. The words hit harder than I expected. Before I could respond, Lily pointed at Maya's notebook. Can I see what you're drawing? Maya smiled, opening it to a half-finished sketch of two hands, one large, one small, forming the sign for love. Lily gasped, That's me and Daddy. Maya looked at me, eyes warm. Maybe, she signed playfully. Lily giggled, leaning on my arm. I like her, she signed. Yeah. I signed back before I could stop myself. Me too. Maya caught that. She smiled faintly, but it didn't reach her eyes this time. Her gaze drifted again, back to the ring. She closed her notebook gently, stood and signed, I should go. I started to sign something. Anything, but stopped. She took a napkin from the table, wrote something quickly, and slid it toward me. Her handwriting was small, but careful. You don't have to fix me. Just talk to me. Before I could react, she turned and walked out into the rain. Lily watched her go, confused. Did we make her sad? She asked, signing small, uncertain motions. I shook my head. No. I signed quietly. She just reminded me what it feels like to feel again. Outside, the rain blurred her figure into the distance until she disappeared. I picked up the napkin, reading it again, my chest tightening with something that felt too much like hope and too much like fear. I kept the napkin. Folded, unfolded, read again. You don't have to fix me. Just talk to me. Those words lived in my pocket like a pulse. Days passed. I tried to focus on work, on Lily's school lunches, on anything ordinary. But at night, when the house got quiet, I'd catch myself replay her hands in motion. The way she laughed without sound, the look in her eyes when she saw the ring. Sometimes I'd whisper to the empty room, You'd like her, talking to my late wife. And sometimes in the silence that followed, I almost felt like she answered, It's okay to live again. Lily, of course, had no patience for my confusion. She came running one evening with her crayons. Look, Daddy, she said, sliding a paper across the table. It was a stick figure drawing of me, her, and Maya, standing outside the cafe. Maya's hair was bright orange in crayon. I swallowed a laugh. That's really good, kiddo. She's a nice lady from the cafe. She said proudly, Can we see her again? I hesitated. I don't know if she... Please. Lily tilted her head, that unstoppable smile working its way through my resolve. I sighed, pretending to think. We'll see. But the truth was, I already wanted to. 3 days later, I saw her again, not at the cafe, but at the community center. I'd been dropping Lily off for a kids' art workshop when I heard laughter, the kind that didn't need sound. I turned toward the open door and froze. Maya was there, sitting cross-legged on the floor, surrounded by kids, signing with fast, joyful hands. Their faces lit up as she showed them how to draw waves with their palms. Lily spotted her instantly. Maya! She shouted, running in before I could stop her. Maya turned, surprise flickering into a smile. She waved at Lily, then at me. I waved back, awkwardly holding the paper bag, with Lily's lunch like a nervous teenager. Can we stay? Lily asked. Maya motioned toward an empty chair in the corner. You can watch, she signed. I sat, pretending not to stare. The room buzzed with energy, little hands flying through the air, laughter without sound. Maya moved among them like light, patient and kind. When Lily joined in, she picked it up fast, watching them together, my daughter laughing in perfect silence. Something in me cracked wide open. I hadn't seen Lily that happy in years. Not since before the hospital days. Not since before her mother's smile disappeared. I caught Maya looking at me. Our eyes met, just for a moment, and it felt like she saw everything I'd been holding back. After class ended, Lily ran up, cheeks pink, hands still flying. She said I'd draw better than Daddy. Maya smiled, raising her hands. True, she signed, grinning. I laughed, shaking my head. You're supposed to be on my side. I'm always on the side of art, she signed. Lily tugged on my sleeve. Can she come for ice cream? Maya's smile faltered. She looked down, hesitating. I caught her eye. No pressure. It's just ice cream. After a long pause, she nodded. We walked together. 3 shadows in the afternoon light. Lily skipped ahead, humming to herself. Maya walked beside me, quiet but not distant. I asked about her class. She told me with her hands. About teaching kids who felt invisible, about how art gave them a voice. Her eyes shone when she signed it. When I told her Lily had been drawing nonstop since meeting her, she smiled softly. She feels safe, she signed. That matters. I looked down at her hands, the grace in them, and felt that warmth again, the one I'd almost forgotten how to name. At the ice cream shop, Lily smeared chocolate all over her face. Maya laughed silently, covering her mouth. I snapped a photo before I could stop myself. When we walked her home later, the sky had turned orange and heavy with the promise of rain. The streets were quiet except for the sound of our steps. At her gate, she paused. I wanted to say something. Anything, but the words tangled in my throat. Can I walk you to your door? I asked finally. She looked up at me for a long second, then shook her head. Her hands moved slowly. People leave, Ethan. They always do. That hit harder than I expected. I'm not people. I signed, fumbling with emotion. She smiled sadly. Everyone says that. For a moment, neither of us moved. The rain started, soft at first, then steady. Lily tugged my arm. Daddy, it's raining. Maya smiled faintly at her, then at me. She turned toward her door, hesitated once, and signed softly over her shoulder. Thank you. Then she was gone. I stood there, soaked, holding my daughter's hand, not sure if I'd just been pushed away or let in. On the drive home, Lily leaned her head against my arm. She's sad, she murmured. Can we see her again? I didn't answer. I just watched the raindrops race each other down the window. And when the phone rang that night, my heart already knew something was wrong. The phone slipped out of my hand when I heard the words accident and Maya. Lily looked up from her crayons. Daddy, my voice barely worked. We have to go. The rain hadn't stopped from earlier, just heavier now. Wipers thudded uselessly as I drove, my pulse louder than the storm. Lily sat in the back, clutching her stuffed bunny, eyes wide but quiet. My thoughts spun out of control. She said people leave. Did I let her believe that again? When I reached the hospital, I didn't even lock the car. The nurse pointed me down the hall. I almost crashed into the door before finding the right room. She was there, sitting up, a small bandage on her forehead, sketchbook on her lap, soaked pages drying under a lamp. Relief hit me so hard I had to grab the doorframe. Maya, my voice cracked. I started signing without thinking, messy, rushed, half wrong. You okay? Car crash? Hurt? She blinked at me, then laughed, actually laughed. Her hands moved gently. I'm fine. You sign like you're on fire. I let out a shaky breath. You scared me. She tilted her head. You came. Of course, I stopped. Words caught between guilt and something else. Lily was worried. So was I. Her eyes softened. You drive fast. Yeah, well, I muttered, sitting beside her bed. You scare fast? She smiled again, small, tired, real. Lily peeked from the door, holding her bunny like a peace offering. I motioned her in. Maya's whole face brightened. She signed to Lily. I'm okay. Lily climbed onto the chair, setting the bunny beside Maya's sketchbook. You can draw him, she said. Maya chuckled silently, flipping open a half-dry page. The colors had run, blues bleeding into purples, lines blurred. She traced a ruined drawing with her finger. I caught a glimpse, two hands reaching but not touching. I felt my throat tighten. Was that from before? She nodded. Oh, peace. Her hand slowed. I was crossing the street. Someone honked. I dropped the sketchbook. Nothing serious. I exhaled. Thank God. We sat there, the beeping of machines marking time. Lily had fallen asleep in the chair, head against my arm. Maya glanced at her, then at me. She's strong. She's all I have. You're all she needs. Her eyes lingered on me, calm and kind. For a moment, I almost forgot where we were. I lost my wife 3 years ago. I said quietly. Car accident, too. Different road. Same storm. Her hand stilled in her lap. I thought I could handle it. I went on, for Lily's sake. But every day since then felt like I was living underwater. I didn't want to breathe too deep in case I remembered what air felt like. Maya didn't interrupt. She just watched, really watched, as if every word mattered. When I ran out of things to say, she lifted her hands and signed slowly. You don't have to stop loving her to love again. Something inside me cracked wide open. My chest ached. My eyes burned. I wanted to argue, to tell her it wasn't that easy, but I couldn't, because deep down I knew she was right. I looked at her hands, the same ones that had signed I'm fine minutes ago, the same hands that taught kids how to laugh without sound. Doesn't it hurt? I asked, to love again? She smiled, not sad, just knowing. It always hurts, but silence hurts more. I let out a breath that felt like it had been trapped for years. Lily thinks you're magic, I said softly. Maya shook her head. She's the magic one. She sees what others can't. I glanced at my daughter, sleeping peacefully beside me. Yeah, I whispered. She really does. For a while we said nothing, just the rain outside, tapping against the window like it was trying to join the conversation. When I finally stood to leave, Maya reached out, not to stop me, but to give me something. A half-ruined sketch from her book. 2 hands, this time touching. Keep it, she signed, for when you forget what hope looks like. I didn't trust my voice, so I just nodded. As I carried Lily out, I glanced back once. She was still watching me, not with longing, not with sadness, but with quiet understanding. For the first time in years, the silence didn't scare me. It felt full, alive, and somewhere under the hum of hospital lights, I swear I could hear it, the sound of my own heart, beating again. I kept hearing her words. You don't have to stop loving her to love again. They followed me home, lingered through the night, and somehow changed the way silence fell in my house. When morning came, it wasn't heavy anymore. The school auditorium buzzed that afternoon, kids running everywhere, teachers whispering directions, parents juggling cameras and nerves. Lily clung to my sleeve, bouncing on her toes. You sure you're ready? I asked, straightening the bow in her hair. She nodded, grinning ear to ear. Maya said I can do it. I smiled. Yeah, I know she did. Her hands moved quickly. She's coming, right? She promised. I signed back, clumsy but clear enough for her to giggle. A teacher waved us toward the stage area. Parents of the audience, please. I gave Lily a quick hug. Go make him feel something, kiddo. She hugged back tighter than usual. You too, Daddy. I found a seat near the front. Rows of parents filled the hall, phones raised like tiny spotlights. The curtain swayed, and I caught a glimpse of her, Maya, standing near the side of the stage, helping a few kids adjust their costumes. She saw me and smiled, a quiet, knowing smile that said we made it here. When the lights dimmed, I swear my heart started to drum louder than the audience's whispers. The first few acts went by, songs, short plays, shy voices echoing through microphones. Then it was Lily's turn. The teacher stepped up and said softly, Our next performance is very special. Lily Morgan will sign her own poem, The Sound I Feel. I froze. She wrote a poem? The curtain opened, and there she was, small, brave, standing center stage in her blue dress. The spotlight hit her, and for a second she looked for me. When our eyes met, I gave her a thumbs up. Then Maya walked out beside her. She wasn't supposed to perform, just help interpret, maybe support. But seeing her there beside Lily made my chest tighten with something warm. They faced the crowd together. Maya nodded and Lily began. Her hands moved slowly at first, hesitant, like a whisper in motion. "I can't hear your voice," her finger said, "but I feel it when you hold me." The crowd went utterly still. "I can't hear the rain," she signed, "but I see Daddy run close a window, and that's how I know it sings." My throat burned. I felt my fingers dig into my palms just to keep from crying out loud. "I can't hear music," she signed, "but when people smile, I think that's what it must sound like." Her hands paused. Maya knelt beside her, guiding her through the next motion. But Lily didn't need help. She looked at me directly. "I can't hear Mommy," she signed slowly, "but I see her in the stars and in Daddy's eyes when he looks at me." I broke. Silent tears. My chest shaking, useless to stop them. The audience, completely silent, until someone sniffed, then another. The sound spread like a ripple. Even the teachers had tears streaming. When Lily finished, she took a small step back. Maya lifted her hands and signed the last line with her. "The sound I feel is love." The room erupted. Applause thundered. People stood, some clapping through tears. Lily laughed, that full body, sunshine kind of laugh, and threw her arms around Maya. I stood up without realizing it, clapping until my palms hurt. After the show, I found them backstage. Lily was still glowing, surrounded by her classmates. Maya stood off to the side, watching her with the softest expression I'd ever seen. When Lily spotted me, she ran over and jumped into my arms. "Did you see me, Daddy?" I wiped her cheeks. "See you? You own the stage." She giggled, leaning close. Maya helped me write the poem. She said words don't need to make noise to be loud. I looked at Maya. She's right. Maya stepped closer, her eyes shining in the low light. "She's special, Ethan." "Yeah," I said quietly. "She gets that from her mom." Lily tugged Maya's sleeve. "Ice cream again?" Maya laughed silently and nodded. Lily squealed and ran ahead, already signing flavors to herself. For a few seconds, it was just me and Maya, the noise of the world fading behind us. I looked at her hands, the ones that had guided Lily's, the ones that somehow steadied mine. "Thank you," I said softly. "For what?" she signed. "For giving her something I couldn't." Her hands slowed. "You gave her everything. I just showed her how to tell the world." We walked together toward the exit, the sound of laughter echoing down the hallway. At the doorway, she stopped. Her hand brushed my arm, warm, trembling just a little. "Are you ready," she signed slowly, "to stop being alone?" The question hung there between us, soft, patient, real. I didn't answer right away. I looked down the hall where Lily waited, smiling, waving, alive in every way that mattered. Then I looked back at Maya. For the first time in years, I didn't feel the weight of what I'd lost. I felt the strength of what was growing. I lifted my hands, clumsy, unsure, and signed back the only words that felt right. "I think I'm learning how." The air outside the school was soft and gold, the kind of evening light that makes everything look forgiven. Lily still clutched her small trophy, swinging it in her hand as if it weighed nothing. The echoes of applause still hummed faintly in my ears, not as sound, but as something felt in my chest. Maya walked beside me, quiet, her sketchbook pressed protectively to her side. I could feel her gaze, gentle but uncertain, like she was standing on the edge of something she wanted to believe in. She stopped beneath the old oak tree, where the light cut to the leaves and flickers. Her fingers moved slowly, hesitant at first. "You changed my life," she signed, eyes shining, without saying a word. I laughed, not to deflect, not out of discomfort, but because for once I didn't need words either. My hands fumbled through the signs, my muscle memory from late nights practicing finally catching up to my heart. "You deserve better." Her lips parted, her breath visible in the cooling air. She stared at my hands like they were more than gestures, like they were confessions. Then she smiled, a small tremor in her lips before her fingers answered back, clear and sure this time. Maybe we both do. The silence that followed wasn't heavy. It was alive, filled with everything unspoken but understood. Lily slipped her tiny hand into mine, then into Maya's. Her fingers were sticky with the remnants of the lollipop the teacher had given her after the show. She looked up at both of us and grinned. "Did you see them, Daddy?" Everyone stood up. They clapped so loud. "I saw," I said, my throat tightening. "You made them feel something real." "She made me feel something real." Maya signed beside her, her gaze on Lily. Lily giggled, half understanding, then began signing back, small, confident movements that made my chest ache with pride. I watched them talk, hands dancing between them, no sound but every meaning perfectly clear. For a second, I felt my late wife's presence, not like a ghost, but like a quiet warmth sitting beside me. I could almost hear her voice whispering, "It's okay. Keep going." Maya looked at me then, catching whatever flicker had passed across my face. "You still talk to her sometimes, don't you?" she signed softly. I nodded. "Every night." I signed back, "but it doesn't hurt as much anymore." Her smile deepened. "Because you learn how to listen again." That hit somewhere deep, not painful, not healing, just true. We started walking again. The sun dipped lower, setting the sky on fire behind the school roof. Lily ran ahead, her laughter ringing faintly before fading into the breeze. I watched her, this small girl who had carried me through the dark, without even knowing it. She'd lost her mother, yet somehow she'd taught me how to live again. She'd found connection in silence before I ever did. Maya walked close enough that our shoulders brushed. "You know," she signed, eyes half laughing, half serious. "When I met you, I thought you were angry at the world. I admitted, maybe at myself more than anything. And now, I'm just tired of being angry. Feels like I wasted years waiting for the right kind of quiet." She tilted her head. "And is this it?" I nodded. "Yeah, this is it." We reached the parking lot, where her small silver car was parked. Lily was already climbing into her seat, still humming some version of her poem under her breath, the one she called The Sound I Feel. I turned to Maya, not ready to let the night end. "Dinner?" I asked, half signing, half speaking. She hesitated, eyes soft. "You sure you're ready?" "For what?" "For this. For us." I looked past her, to Lily waving from the car, to the fading sunlight, to the quiet that didn't ache anymore. Then back at Maya. "Yeah," I said finally. "I think I've been ready without knowing it." Her fingers brushed mine, not quite a handhold, not yet, just a touch that said, "I believe you." We drove with the windows half down. The cool wind tangled Lily's hair as she sang softly to herself. Maya watched her from the passenger seat, a small smile pulling at the corner of her mouth. I caught in the mirror that gentle, hopeful curve, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel the urge to fill the silence. It was enough. At a red light, Maya turned to me. She signed slowly, one deliberate motion at a time, as if carving the words into the air itself. Maybe love doesn't need sound. I smiled, keeping my eyes on the road, but memorizing every movement of her hands. Maybe, I signed back, it just needs someone who finally listens. The light turned green. As we drove on, Lily reached forward from the back seat, her little hand resting between mine and Maya's on the center console. 3 hands, one promise, no sound, just the rhythm of our breathing and the steady beat of something finally whole. And for the first time in a long, long while, I realized silence was never empty. It was just waiting for the right kind of love to fill it.